Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Today I wanted to show you a comparison between the two devices. Okay, so here we have the Note 8. Let's represent from the oldest to the newest. Here we have the S9 Plus. Okay, so they are launched respectively in 2017 and 2018. So they are almost 5 and 6 years old now, but we're going to see how they stack up against each other after this. So first, let's go to the display, of course. That's what you are going to see the most when going on a display, on a smartphone, okay? So here they are. Even though Note 8 is much taller, okay? So just to tell you the body and dimensions, well, for the S9 Plus, we have a 158.1 millimeters tall compared to 162.5, okay? Then we have a 73.8 compared to 74.8 for the Note 8, okay, so it's larger in both dimensions. Also, it's thicker by 0.1 millimeter, but despite the bigger size, you got just 0.1 inch larger display. Then, let's go and test their speakers. Also their display. So just to launch a video, please be sure to subscribe. So here we have it. Okay, let's tap. So here we have it. Listen to the S9 Plus. So 3, 2, 1, let's go. I'm sorry for the...
Everybody knows that I'm breaking down. Everybody knows I ain't faking now. Everybody knows my heart's faking now. Yeah, she hates me now. I made mistakes, but now I don't ever wanna be. Feeling low, about to blow back up. Okay.
Now let's go listen to the Note 8. Yeah, the music sounds. So pretty much you can argue which one is better. I think that the S9 Plus has a better bass of a stereo sounding speaker from Dolby Atmos. It's tuned by 8 kg. So this was for the display. They have the same resolution, if I can quickly. The best thing on both of them is the ability to swipe with your thing. So let's go to the display, of course, which we have it here. So, okay, I have left in power mode. Here we are back. Okay, so if we go to screen resolution, well, they have basically the same screen resolution as you can see, 2960 by 1440, which translates into an impressive 521 pixel per inch on the Note 8 versus 529 pixel per inch on the S9 Plus. Of course, it's 0.1 inch smaller, which translates into a better PPI compared to Note 8. The one feature we can argue is better on the Note 8, well, is the pen, of course, S Pen. That's where you will buy a Note compared to a S device before. Now we have the S23 Ultra, which has both the S Note and also the Note. Of course, it's discontinued. The Note is discontinued for a year or so now. Okay. So this was the display comparison and also the body and dimensions. Now let's go to okay guys, let's go to the next section of this video, of course, which is going to be the camera. They have both a dual camera on the back, but the S9 Plus had a cool features kind of thingy where it has on the main camera a dual aperture. Of course, it had a 1.5, which was for low light photography, and also a 2.4, which was for lighter environment. Of course, that was a wide angle lens, which was a 12 megapixel, a dual pixel autofocus, as I said, 1.5 and 2.4. Just to go here on Pro, here we have f1.5, f1.2.4. f1.5 allows more light, as I said. We have pretty good specs, of course. They both support 4K 60, go up to 1440p on they are older devices. They are not going to perform as the newest devices, but they have pretty good. Then let's go to the next section. Okay guys, well, of course they have good displays for their age, they have good cameras, but what is powering them? Okay, we have Exynos 8895 for the Note 8, but I have the Snapdragon 845 for this. This had the 835, 6 gigs of RAM. Just to go to the device here, okay. Here we can see that they both have 64 gigs of internal storage. They have Adreno 630 for this, 620 in a Mali G71, I think, or G72 for the, okay. But even though I have noticed something, even though they have 6 gigs both, you can clearly see that the Note 8 has a bit more used RAM, of course. I don't know why, maybe something by Samsung. Sometimes it fills up way quicker than the Note 8, than the S9 Plus. Maybe it's because the different cache, different processing unit. But I have noticed that even though they have 64 gigs internal storage, and this has they both have 64 gigs and 6 gigs of RAM, but I have seen that the Note 8 RAM fills up quicker. That has to do with cache and things like that. We are not going to get that in detail today, but just to keep in mind that you might think, if you are buying this as your secondary device or even as your main, they are not laggy for their age, of course. They are not going to be as powerful as A17 Bionic that is coming now, but they are going to be good for light use, of course. Gaming they can support, but the battery is not there, of course. I'm getting around 2 hours of screen use on the S9 Plus, probably the same here, maybe a little bit less, a little bit more. Okay, Yeah, it's 3 hours 55 minutes, but it has dropped. I have charged it. The battery is not really something you're going to look for here, okay? They're not going to be like 6-7 hours of screen of use. I combined the processor, memory, and the battery session in one place, of course. As we are there, this has a 3500 milliamp hour battery on the S9 Plus and 3300 milliamp hour battery on the Note 8. For performance, I will say just to go on a Geekbench score, okay? Just to compare both of them. Well, they are lower than what I get. I don't know for what reason. But S9, I think this was right. Well, as you can see, here we have a good comparisons between the two devices, of course. Well, we have a 505 single core for the S9 Plus. This is a Snapdragon version, of course. You are going to get a bit lower on the single core. As we can see, I'm getting around 800 on my S9 Plus. I don't know why. And I'm getting around 500 here. The multi-core is pretty much what I get on my device. So, if you don't know what means single core, the single core is like for lighter tasks, okay? How fast and how snappy they are. Of course, the 2153 multi-core we have here is the single core on iPhone 11, on an iPhone 14 Pro Max right now. So just to keep that in mind, to think how much slower or how much faster the newer phones are now. But compared to here, we have a pretty big jump, okay? Even this might be good scores. Okay. This is Snapdragon 835, by the way. Which is not what I have here. Okay. So here we have the score for that. Yeah. Okay, guys. If we compare this, well, for today they are good if you use let's say browsing the web or watching movies. Okay, these are pretty good still. Let's go and let's watch a 4K video, of course. Guys, here we are with the videos. Let's launch the Japan. It's the latest one right now, 23 hours ago. Okay, so these screens are gorgeous, of course. These screens are gorgeous to watch. Yes. Well, you can see pretty much how much bigger the Note 8 is compared to this. I will say that the screens on both of these are just unbeatable, okay? For the price, of course. They have a good brightness, max brightness of around 1200 nits, I think, for both of them. Would I choose one over the other? Well, I will choose really, which one you choose is good for your secondary device. Maybe the Note, because you have the S Pen, I don't know. But this is going to be more powerful. It's your choice, of course. It has a bigger battery, smaller battery, newer chip, smaller chip. Okay, but while we are seeing, you can see the comparison between these two devices. Let's talk a bit more for memory and storage. Okay, this has 6 gigs of RAM, of course, which comes at 64, 128, and 256 as max storage, while this has the same configuration. They are UFC 2.1, I think. Okay, this has a micro SD slot up to 400 gigs, so you can expand from 64, let's say, up to 464 gigs. This is a bit less, okay? It's not that much. It's just up to 256 more. Then, if we compare the screens of as you see here, they are gorgeous to see. Okay, just to place a bit closer this. Okay, they are both up to 2K screens, which is awesome. 1200 nits, close to that. Just to side-by-side comparison. Yeah, the bezels are pretty close, I'm not going to lie. I think that the S9 Plus has smaller chin on the bottom. And the iris scanner is not that protruding to you, of course. That's your choice. But the screens are just awesome. Now, let's go to the next session. Okay, so the next session, of course, is going to be the operating system, because we have a good display on both of them. It's your personal choice. This is lighter, by the way, as term of the heaviness. Okay, this is 185, 195, I think, or 189, sorry. I think this 189, this 195. 6 grams more, you get a S-Pen, you get things like that. A bit bigger display, but I don't know why it looks like a bit thicker. It's 0.1 millimeter, but I don't know what has Samsung done inside. The cameras, of course, they are both good. I don't know for your choice. They both look pretty good, okay? But this color is just killing it, okay? I don't know why it looks still good. So then let's go to the operating system, of course. Let's just tap the 3D button. I don't know why Samsung has dispatched this on the newer devices. It was cool, okay? They both has always on display, things like that, okay? If we think about the software update, let's get into the software info. Okay, I have zoomed in a bit, and as you can see, here we have One UI 2.5, and here we have the first One UI, okay? That's cool to see, of course. We have Android 10 here, Android 9. They both don't have latest security patches, of course, just to see what they have. Yeah, this has 1 August 2021. This has 1 March 2021. Wow, they are pretty old, okay? Pretty good devices, okay? So let's compare the physical difference. Of course, we were into that before. Here we can see, well, by the way, the fingerprint placement is much better here than here, okay? Yeah. Well, they look pretty good. Okay guys, we have covered most of the things in this video. Now, what are some special features? Or they have almost really similarities. They have headphone jack, they have USB 3.0 or Type-C, they have secure folder, things like that, Knox protection. This is going to have a better Knox protection, of course. This has, but they have some difference. Okay, let's start with the number one and the most obvious. This has the S Pen, okay? This has S Pen, of course. This doesn't. This has a stereo speaker, okay, which is much better than here, of course. You listen to it. It depends. Sometimes it might be mushy, of course, here because depends on how you use it. They both have always on display, which is cool. They both have Bluetooth 5.0, USB Type-C. They have MST for payment. They have Wi-Fi 802.11, but this has better connectivity. This 9 Plus has a newer processor, and it has an enhanced, of course, 4x4 MIMO. Oh, of course, I'm not going to answer really quickly, just because it is a newer processor. It's going to have better connectivity, better battery, better quality of camera, even though they have dual 12 megapixel cameras on both of them. But this has a 1.7 fixed. This has a 1.5 and 2.4 variable at the main camera, and for telephoto they have pretty much the same. 12 megapixel, maybe a bit better processing, maybe a bit better low light photography. They have 8 megapixel front camera on both of them. They have iris scanner, a fingerprint scanner. They have face unlock, intelligent scan, super slow-mo, better here, of course, from the chip. This has an S Pen, a stereo speaker, of course, I told that. Also, the screen is good on both devices, of course. This has 0.1 inch bigger display. It's not that much, but it looks more because, well, it has bigger bezel than the S9 Plus. The color variations between these two devices, I think that S9 Plus has a more variety and a better looking one. They both have heart rate, flashlight, proximity, of course, accelerometer, things like that. They are not really something that they are for talking. This was from Android 7.1 up to Android 9. This from Android 8.0 up to Android 10, respectively. The physical weight, really, I don't know why this feels lighter. Battery is pretty much the same on both devices. Okay, so this was a look on both of these devices. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and to tap the ring bell icon. Thank you for watching, and